Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 mk2, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Today, I wanted to talk about polymeters. I've been thinking about it a little bit, doing some things on the OPZ again with them, and was trying to think through like some ways that I might be able to bring that over to the SP404 mk2. But before we get into that, let me show you explain what a polymeter is. So by default, when we're talking about 1 bar in 4/4 music, we've got 16 notes. The way that the OPZ represents this is by these 16 buttons across the top that are lit up are showing us each one of these as a valid place to drop a note in 16th notes on the 1 bar timeline. That's how it's set up by default. So given that I'm on kick, I can just program in every 4 notes standard house kind of drum, and we'll get over here. Nothing super fancy or exciting. Maybe you'd put a final kick on this note here, just so that you kind of know where you are in the bar, what's the start and what's the end. But besides that, like nothing super fancy or exciting at the moment. You go to snares. You might go on like the here and here to kind of get your snares going. And then for hats, gotta switch over. You know, if you go every other 16th note, you get kind of this like boring pattern. Well, with a polymeter pattern, we can change this up a little bit. So let's get rid of these notes. And if I hold Shift and I down, what I can basically do is touch down here. And now if you count, there's only 5. So what's going to happen is it's just going to play the same 5 notes. And once it's done, it's going to go to the beginning and keep repeating over and over, which allows us to make some very interesting evolving patterns, because it's kind of repeating and it's going to take a while for it to kind of sync up again. And you can even like do this where you go 3. And you've probably heard this plenty of times, but you know, you can go change these up. And heck, we can even go to the snare, go back to the snare track. You know, we can go even. It's going to move the snare, so it's like it's on and off beat like every other time it plays through. So you can kind of get that snare to move around. I personally don't care for that most of the time, but just trying to show you like what this sounds like. So you might think out of the box, probably not going to be able to do this on the SP404 mk2, and there's no way to adjust in a pattern, particularly how long it plays for, but we can kind of fake some of this stuff if we know some of the settings and think about how to work with it. So I want to show you how to do some of that. So first thing I'm going to do, we're going to go to pattern mode. I'm going to record. I'm going to go to TR rec. And I'm just going to make a 1 length bar. We'll hit record, and I'm going to go subpad. Go to hat here. So we're just going to do like that similar pattern for what we just did for hi-hats. And what we basically wanted to do is just get this in place. And what this allows us to do is we can now go resample. No, we don't want resample. We want to go copy. Sorry, it's been a little while since I've done this. We're going to copy the pattern. We're going to go to pattern select to get into pattern mode. And we'll just hit pattern or pad 1. Hit copy. We're going to go from pattern to sample. So it's going to go render that out and should work pretty well. We have it, but we got like plenty of extra space afterwards. This is where we're going to need to do some math now to kind of get a sense for whatever it is we want. I'm also going to go start by going menu. We're going to go truncate, just get rid of the junk at the beginning and the end. And now if I hold shift and hit enter down, we can see that it's 104,724. And to go do the math, I'm not going to bring up a calculator over here, but basically we want to do 104,724. Or to get this to work correctly for the math, you basically want to, we're going to divide by 16 and multiply by 5. And that gets us 32,726, which is going to give us, that's basically the number that we need to get how many samples we want, because we're just assuming 16 slices. So that's why we're multiplying by 16, and then we're dividing by 5 to get the 5/16 out of it. So if we go to here for end, we can just go 3, 2, 7, 2, 6. Hit that. Oops, we just adjusted the start point, not the end point. Sorry. I apparently don't do this often enough. Let's go back. So end, we go 3, 2, 7, 2, 6, and then hit the button. There we go. So now we've just truncated this down, and it's going to give us kind of this rolling pattern now. So I'm just going to come in, and I'm just going to truncate this just to get it smaller. So because we don't need all that extra stuff in it. Now I've got this pad on C1. What I can do for a pattern, we'll go record and do pattern 2, hit record. And if we come in and hit this, we can, basically what I'm going to do is hit every single note. And it's not going to sound right to begin with. It's just playing. Oop, I missed one. I mean, heck, we might as well do the same thing. We're going to do this. And basically why we're doing this is we want it to re-trigger every time, but we're not in the right play mode. So what I need to do is hold enter down and hit gate. And now we're going to switch it so that it's only actually going to re-trigger that note when it has stopped playing. And this now allows us to come in and do fun things like we can add in our kick drums and still have like these like rolling polyrhythm hi-hats. We do the same thing with the snares. Actually, I guess they're more like a clap or snap or something, but you get the idea. So anyway, all I'm trying to show you is pretty simple math. Like you just need a calculator off to the side to go do this. You just need to make sure that you've recorded a perfect loop of however long you want it to be. But like, that's why I kept it to 1 bar. Just keep it simple. All you do is you multiply it by 16 and then divide it by the number, how many 16th notes that you want in there. And it will get you the information that you need. You chop it, and then to get it into the right mode so that it gets it into the right play mode, you just hold down enter, hit gate, and when it's flashing, that'll let you know that it will play as soon as you hit the pad, but you can't re-trigger it until it is finished playing, and then it will re-trigger again. That's why I have it set up for every 16th note. Anyway, guys, hope you find that interesting and helpful. Thanks for stopping by. Keep making music. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.